Hey everybody, welcome back to the Skookum Report. Sorry it's been a little while since I put one out, but I'm going to try and get one out for you guys once a week from here on out. So, hope you can come back and join me. Today's sighting comes from Bobbie Short's material once again, and I want to thank her and her friends and family for allowing me to use it as a part of the Skookum Report. This is a classic sighting, and it's from a gentleman named William Rowe. And this is his sworn affidavit. And he goes on to say, I, William Rowe, of the city of Edmonton in the province of Alberta, make oath and say that the Exhibit A attached to this, my affidavit, is absolutely true and correct in all details. Sworn before me in the city of Edmonton, province of Alberta, this 26th day of August, 1957. Signed by William Rowe. And signed by W.H. Clark, Assistance Claim Agent, number DD2822. Exhibit A. Ever since I was a small boy back in the forest of Michigan, I have studied the lives and habits of wild animals. Later, I supported my family in northern Alberta by hunting and trapping. I spent many hours just observing the wild things that fascinated me. But the most incredible experience I ever had with a wild creature occurred near a little town called, let's see if I can pronounce this right, it's French, Tête-Jaune-Cachée, British Columbia, about 80 miles west of Jasper, Alberta. I had been working on the highway near Tête-Jaune-Cachée about 2 years in October 1955, working on the highway. I decided to climb 5 miles up Mika Mountain to an old deserted mine, just for something to do. I came in sight of the mine about 3 o'clock in the afternoon after an easy climb. I had just come out of a patch of low brush into a clearing when I saw what I thought was a grizzly bear in the bush on the other side. I had shot at a grizzly near that spot a year before. This one was only about 75 yards away, and I didn't want to shoot it, for I had no way of getting it out. So I sat down on a small rock and watched, my rifle in my hands. I could see part of the animal's head and top of one of the shoulders. A moment later, it raised up and stepped out into the opening. That's when I saw that it was not a bear. Now, the drawing that I'm going to put up was drawn by his rendition by his daughter. And he says, this, to the best of my recollection, is what the creature looked like and how it acted as it came across the clearing directly towards me. He's talking about his whole affidavit and the picture, I guess. My first impression was of a huge man about 6 feet tall, almost 3 feet wide, and probably weighing somewhere near about 300 pounds. It was covered from head to foot with dark brown silver-tipped hair. But as it came closer, I saw by its breasts that it was a female. And he goes on to say, and yet its torso was not curved like a female's. Its broad frame was straight from the shoulder to the hip. Its arms were much thicker than a man's arms, and much longer, reaching almost to its knees. Its feet were broader, proportionately, than a man's. When it walked, it placed the heel of its foot down first, and I could see the gray-brown skin or the hide on the soles of its feet. It came to the edge of the bush I was hiding in. It was within 20 feet of me, and it squatted down on its haunches. Reaching out its hands, it pulled the branches of bushes toward it, stripped the leaves with its teeth, and its lips curled flexibly around the leaves as it ate. I was close enough to see that its teeth were white, and they were even. The shape of this creature's head was higher at the back than at the front. The nose was broad and flat, and the lips and chin protruded farther than its nose. But the hair that covered it, leaving bare only the parts of its face around its mouth, nose, and ears, made it resemble an animal as much as a human. None of this hair, even on the back of its head, was longer than an inch, and that on its face was much shorter. Its ears were shaped like a human's ears, but its eyes were small and black like a bear's, and its neck was also unhuman. It was thicker and shorter than any man's that I had ever seen. As I watched this creature, I wondered if some movie company was making a film at this place and that what I was looking at was an actor, made up to look partly human and partly animal. But as I observed it more, I decided it would be impossible to fake such a specimen. Anyway, I learned later there was no such company near that area, nor in fact did anyone live up in Mika Mountain, according to the people who lived in Titjon Cache. Finally, the wild thing must have gotten my scent, for it looked directly at me through an opening in the bush. A look of amazement crossed its face. It looked so comical at the moment I had to grin. Still in a crouched position, it backed up 3 or 4 short steps, then straightened up to its full height and started to walk rapidly back the way it had come. For a moment, it watched me over its shoulder as it went. Not exactly afraid, but as though it wanted no contact with anything strange. I'd say I wouldn't want any contact myself. He came within 20 feet of it. The thought came to me that if I had shot it, I would possibly have a specimen of great interest to scientists the world over. I had heard stories of the Sasquatch, the giant hairy Indians that live in the legends of the British Columbian Indians, and also many claim are still in fact alive today. Maybe this was a Sasquatch, I told myself. I leveled my rifle. The creature was still walking away rapidly, again turning its head to look in my direction. Then I lowered my rifle. Although I've called the creature it, I felt now that it was a human being, and I knew I would never forgive myself if I killed it. Wow, I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing in other encounter stories. Just as it came to the other patch of brush, it threw its head back and made a peculiar noise that seemed to be half laugh and half language. Then it walked from the small brush into a stand of lodgepole pine. I stepped out into the opening and looked across the small ridge just beyond the pine to see if I could see it again. It came out on the ridge a couple of 100 yards away from me, tipped its head back again, and again emitted the only sound I had heard it make. But what this half-laugh, half-language was meant to convey, I have no idea. Then it disappeared, and I never saw it again. I wanted to find out if it lived on vegetation entirely or ate meat as well, so I went down and looked for signs. I found it in 5 different places, and although I examined it thoroughly, I could find no hair or shells of bugs or insects, so I believe it was strictly vegetarian. I found one place where it had slept for a couple of nights underneath a tree. Now the nights were cool up in the mountain, at this time of year especially, and yet it had not used a fire. I found no sign that it possessed even the simplest of tools, nor a single companion while in this place. Whether this was a Sasquatch, I do not know. It will always remain a mystery to me unless another one is found. I hereby declare the above statement to be in every part true to the best of my powers of observation and recollection. Signed, William Rowe. Man, that's quite a story. Oh man, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did, and I'm going to try and get another story out, like I said, once a week to you guys from Bobbie Short's material. And if anybody out there has an encounter or a sighting or something and you want to have it on the show here, just shoot me an email, write it all down, and send it off in an email to me at skookumreport@gmail.com. That's skookumreport@gmail.com. And we'll get it up on the show for you. It's not a problem at all. And don't forget to leave a comment and hit that like button. We enjoy talking to you guys and meeting new people. And for now, I guess I bid you adieu. That's my other second attempt at French today, I guess. We'll talk to you next week. And take care, everybody. God bless. And I am out.